Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 387. All right. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it after what happened this morning. And boy, I could tell you what, my numbers have been doing decently, right? But this morning, my numbers took a plunge on the podcast because about a third of the way through my scheduled podcast, my computer crashed and it went down hard. But I got back up and I did the podcast over with. But man, about half of my numbers are gone. But that's all right. I'll make up for it. I know what I did. But welcome to the JP8 Report. As we get spun up and get going and stuff, thank y'all. Welcome everyone aboard this morning or this afternoon now. As we get started, please, if you're watching this and you have never clicked that follow button to be a follower of the JP8 Report, please do so and give me a thumbs up or a like for the day's episode. You know, the more people to see that people actually like the episodes, the more apt to be able to come and watch them. And the same thing is, I put stuff in a live chat all the time. I hardly ever put anything in the comments, but hard comments are always good also. But execute the live chat and the like, and please click that follow button to follow the podcast. Let's see. And then as we get started, we have America 250. If you've never watched the JP8 Report before, I do also have America 250 in there, which I'm following our founding fathers and the American Revolution day by day. And so I have a letter. A lot of the times it involves letters or information about what's happening. Like this morning, I announced that British troops arrived in Quebec and pushed out American forces who were sick and starving. If they were healthy American soldiers, Canada would probably be the 51st state, but that didn't happen. But this letter right here is from John Winthrop, I'm sorry. It is from the 6th of May, 1776, and it dealt with pro-independence movement, okay? Dear sir, your letter by your son I have not received, but I hope to have the pleasure soon, together with that of waiting upon him here. Your brother's right to the office you mentioned cannot be questioned, but whether the court will appoint two, who they will be, I can form no conjecture, having never had any conversation with any gentleman upon that subject. An application was indeed made to me in favor of Mr. Henshaw when I was in Watertown, but I could give no reason concerning it, whether it have any voice in the appointment. I know not. I rather think I shall not. Your son, because I rather think I shall not, because it must soon be made, I suppose, and I shall not be soon in the colony. But if I should, your son, sir, will be more likely than anyone I know of at present to have it. But in such cases, every candidate has a right to have his pretensions examined and partiality weighed, and therefore it would be improper for me to make any promises. It gives me pleasure to learn that our people are at last in earnest to fortify the harbor. Believe me, my dear sir, it is of the last importance. I am very far from being certain that the armament in Halifax with a large reinforcement will not return to Boston. Nothing will prevent it, but the vigorous exertion of our government to render the town inaccessible. There is not in the world a harbor better fitted by nature to be rendered impregnable by fortification than that is. I wish I was with you that I might be able to satisfy myself, but there no such thing as sitting on Lovell's Island or George's Island and driving away the men of war which lie in Nantasket Road. Can nothing be done at Hull or Point Aldrin? I'm afraid you are as destitute of active and capable engineers as in spirited commanding officers. As to the cannon by Hopkins, I fear none of them can be spared you. The continent may have so many demands for cannon for the ships and a variety of sea service by sea and land. I'm afraid we will not be able to obtain any of them. Congress has given our colony all that belonged to it and the king. I am extremely disappointed in the experiments at Providence. I hope it is not certain and settled that we have not ore in the northern colonies, which is fit for the manufacture of cannon. You rejoice me very much in acquainting me there is plenty of materials for making sulfur in the country. Wish to be informed in greater detail that these materials are, where and when they can be found, and whether the art of subletting it is understood among our people. There is a sulfur ore in New Jersey, and we hear of it in other places. We have a committee of saltpeter, sulfur, powder, cannon, and muskets, but I don't fear so much from it as I wish. Our people, you say, are impatiently waiting for the Congress to declare off from the Great Britain. My own sentiments are upon this is not material, but others ask what purpose should we declare off? Our privateers are at liberty, our trade is open, our colonies are sliding into new governments. A confederation may be formed, but why should we declare we never will be reconciled with Great Britain upon any terms whatsoever? You ask how it would be relished by the Congress if our colony should declare off. I am happy to hear that our colony is disusing a certain name in all commissions, acts, and law processes, and I would like very well if they should choose a governor or at least ask leave of Congress to do it, but I cannot advise them to make any public declarations separate from our sister colonies. The Union is our defense, and that must be most tenderly cherished. If our colony is an inclination to instruct the delegates in Congress, no reasonable objection can be made to this. If they may, if they think proper, instruct their servants never to vote for any subjection to Parliament in any case whatsoever, never to vote for submitting to any crown officer, whether governor, madamus councillor, secretary, judge, admiralty, commissioner, or custom house officer, uh, if this is their sentiment, or never to vote for acknowledging any allegiance or subjection to the crown of Great Britain or king of Great Britain. But if they do all this, I hope you will allow us to make peace as an independent state. It is my opinion, sir, that we will have little difference in sentiment among the colonies upon these great questions in a few weeks. I am respect, sir. I am with great respect, sir. So, man, I was getting nervous about the first part of the letter, but in the last part, it goes into allegiances to the crown and what to do if they declare their independence. And it looks like they're walking down that road right now. So that was from the 6th of May. It was John Adams to John Winthrop. All right. All right. So we're breaking in with some people watching, which is good. Don't forget to chat and like the episode. Let's see. And here. Now we got the armament shop, whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service. Jason at the armament shop is Copper's Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text at 254-560-2023. Or visit them at www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted there for a second. All right, so I am back. And get that ready. All right, for the Iran update, this is post Operation Epic Fury. It's now Project Freedom, which is suspended at the moment, right? As per the president last night. There may be a memorandum within 48 hours, be a one-page agreement. And Trump suggests that the bombing may return at a much higher intensity if no agreement is signed. Iran's prime minister, as you were, Iran's foreign minister and the Chinese foreign minister met in Beijing before the president and President Xi meet in China. And the IDF strikes at Hezbollah infrastructure in Lebanon after several Israeli soldiers, were injured. Pakistan's prime minister tells President Trump, "Thank you very much for his efforts in bringing the fighting to an end." And suspension of Project Freedom, it was a surprise to shipping companies in the Strait of Hormuz. And then let's see, I have a slight piece I want to read real quick. And first, I'm going to read the True Social from the president. Based on the requests of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran. We have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force, in effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. President Donald J. Trump. All right. So I just want to put that out. And then the two things that just came out is okay. I did read you about the bombing. President Trump said Wednesday that assuming Iran agrees to give what is agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary epic fury will come to an end, and the highly effective blockade will allow the Strait of Hormuz to be open to all, including Iran. However, if they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be sadly at a much higher level than in intensity than it was before. The remarks come as Project Freedom, the U.S. military operation to open the Strait of Hormuz, is temporarily paused. Trump halted operation Tuesday, saying that great progress is being made at a potential deal with Tehran to end the conflict. So what I'm saying that is this is the next part. The White House is getting closer to an agreement with Iran on a one-page memorandum of understanding to end the war and establish a framework of detailed discussions about Tehran's nuclear program. A report from Axis said. Axis is a liberal-leaning publication, so you got to be wary of what you're reading from sometimes. The outlet, citing two U.S. officials, hold on. Nope. Okay. The outlet, citing two U.S. officials and two other sources briefed on the issue, reported that the U.S. is expecting Iran to respond on several key points within the next 48 hours. The deal would involve Iran agreeing to a halt on nuclear enrichment, while the U.S. would lift sanctions and free up billions of dollars in frozen Iranian funds, according to Axios. Both sides would lift restrictions on transit through the Strait of Hormuz, it added. Fox News reached out to the White House for further comment. Haven't heard nothing back yet. All right? All righty. So, and then Brent crude oil is trading at $101.67 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is at $94.88 a barrel. And the stock market is up 616 points. It was at 49,914.38. Now, to put that in aspect, right? This time yesterday, hold on just a second here. I usually write it down, but I didn't. All right. So yesterday at this time, Brent crude oil was trading at $110 a barrel, and right now it's at $101 a barrel. And West Texas Intermediate was trading at $101, and right now it's down to $94.88. Big differences. So all y'all looking for a little bit of break at the pump, it'll be coming probably within about 3 days, all right? All right. So before we get on to the rest of it, I want to let you know a little bit of entertainment news. Blake Lively and Jason Baldoni finally settled their suit against each other, and there was no money exchange. They just gave a bunch of money to a bunch of lawyers and got nothing out of it. And then on a bigger note, Ted Turner died this morning at age 87. All right. He founded Turner Classic Movies, TCM, TNT, TBS, and the failed network CNN. But he sold it all off to AOL several years ago. Matter of fact, if you want to know one really cool thing about Ted Turner owned the biggest, he owned two of them, the largest herds of buffalo in North America. Just so you know, okay? I learned that a long time ago. All right. So, breaking news just a few minutes ago before I came in here. We'll get this out of the way before we get to the rest of the podcast. As we get going on here, hey, please don't forget to click that like button. Please click that like button and click the follow button, please. And don't forget the chat, okay? Seems like I'm the only one that's in the chat room right now, but that's all right. We can deal with that. I'm missing my two buddies right now. I think Rob said he had an appointment this morning, and then Ricky's supposed to be here. Man, he had physical therapy this morning, so I hope he's all right. I did talk to him about 3 hours ago, physically, but he needs to get on there and start chatting. All right, so the breaking news that came out just a little while ago was a Democrat ally for the Secretary General of Virginia, the People's the People's Republic of Virginia? Is that what I call it? No, the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia. Yeah, that's it. One of her close allies got busted by the feds this morning because this lady obviously owns a cannabis distribution network, and that I don't know what's going on, but they were talking about corruption and stuff like that. But the lady is a Democrat senator, and she's very boisterous. She cusses a whole lot. I don't have any of her stuff on here. I don't want it. But it says the FBI raided the office of a powerful Virginia Democrat lawmaker and ally of Governor, or who I call the Secretary General, Abigail Spanberger, as part of a federal corruption and illegal marijuana sale probe. A longtime state senator Luis Lucas, a major power broker in Virginia politics, who stumped for Spanberger on the campaign trail in 2025, is now at the center of a major FBI corruption probe, according to federal law enforcement sources. Agents executed court-authorized criminal search warrants at Lucas's office in Portsmouth, Virginia, Wednesday, according to federal law enforcement offices. The FBI simultaneously carried out a search warrant at a cannabis dispensary believed to be connected to Lucas. Man, she's like a grandma. Man, the state senator arrived at her office as the raids were being conducted. She told Fox she had no idea what the FBI agents were doing at her office. The raids put more political pressure on Spanberger, who already is facing tumbling political numbers, as many critics accuse her of forcing down a far-left agenda on a once purple state. The search warrants were signed by a federal judge who agreed to there is probable cause to conduct the raids. This is not the first political firestorm Lucas has faced. She has co-owned a cannabis shop in Portsmouth, Virginia, that faced scrutiny after an investigation reported that some products were illegally mislabeled and exceeded legal THC limits, raising regulatory concerns under Virginia law. Lucas is known as a bombastic social media presence and a heavy on crude language and memes. Excuse me, man. But they reached out to Spanberger for comment and more from Miss Lucas, and neither one of them would respond anymore to any more questions, and neither has any more stuff from the federal government also about the raid. So I'm sure by the end of the day we're going to know the ins and outs of everything that happened here. That's bad. I mean, she's a supporter of Abigail Spanberger. So how much did she contribute to the campaign to try to put those the changeover in congressional districts, right? And if you look at the product that's been coming out of the legislature of Virginia, she is like very liberal and maybe pushing. They said she's powerful, so we'll have to see on that one. Let's see. Now they got Trumpwhacked. Okay, so as I put on my Facebook last night, you mess with MAGA, and this will happen to you. So about 5 months ago, President Trump tried to get the overwhelmingly Republican legislature and House to vote for redistricting. Right? They wanted to try to convert one, maybe two of the remaining Democrat districts, congressional districts in Indiana to Republican leaning, right? Not dedicated Republican, but Republican leaning. You still got to go fight and campaign for your seats to win. And they had the votes to do it. But you had several Republicans in the Indiana legislature that refused to vote for it. Matter of fact, they voted with Democrats to deny Governor Braun the redistricting that he wanted to give to the president to help retain the House of Representatives this coming November. The president said, "You're it. We're coming after you. You will be primary." And I guess they said, "Well, okay, try it. We're just doing what we're supposed to be doing." Well, the primary was last night. And as a result of the primary, uh, five of the people that that voted against redistricting were beat by Trump endorsed candidates. One of them was beat by like 50 points. A huge destruction right there. And the other one got beat by 35 points. One survived, and then one, it was a toss up. So I don't know how that one turned out. I would go search for it, but we're in the middle of the podcast. Well, wait a minute. Let me see here. Give me a second here. Let's see. Indiana. Man, sometimes you just can't find updates to what you're looking for. Okay. Here it is. Give me a second here. This was a couple hours ago. So it says Trump, everyone should learn a lesson. 5 of the Trump endorsed candidates won. 1 incumbent survived, and 1 race is yet to be decided as of early Wednesday evening. So, if I had Rob here online, I could get him to look it up. So I'm going to have to do it myself. Indiana election. Whoa. Results. Okay. Wow. Breaking news. U.S. forces fire upon a Iranian flagged cargo ship trying to avoid the blockade. All right. All right. So we want to go by. Okay, so I don't know the name of the other person. Oh man, if I would have, hold on just a second here. Oh, it doesn't say just one man. No. Nope. Okay. So I give up on that one. All right. One of the things, let's see, maybe it says it in here. All right. It says he wasn't on the ballot, but President Trump was the big winner in Indiana's primary. The president scored decisive victories in a slate of primary victories in solidly red Midwestern state, another sign that his immense grip on the Republican Party remains steadily solid, rock solid. The, the political world was closely watching Indiana's primary because it was the first in a series of major tests as a result of Trump's endorsement power in GOP nomination showdowns. The president clearly cleared his first hurdle with ease. 5 months ago, Republicans in GOP dominated Indiana state Senate withstood immense pressure from Trump as his allies voted down congressional redistricting. I just told you all about that, right? Which would give Indiana two more right-leaning U.S. House seats in the midterms. I told you all about that also. Fast forward to Tuesday, and 8 of those state senators facing GOP primary challenges, seeking retribution of president-endorsed challengers to 7 of the 8 Republican lawmakers who voted against the redistricting bill. 5 of the Trump-endorsed candidates won, with one incumbent surviving, and one race yet to be decided as of early Wednesday morning. Everyone in Indiana has learned of an important lesson today. President Trump is the single most popular Republican among Hoosier voters. Republican Jim Banks of Indiana, he's the U.S. Senator, told a top Trump ally in the Senate, said in a statement as the results poured in. Banks, who was a key part of the Trump allies and advisors in an effort to defeat the incumbent GOP senators, emphasized that GOP is a conservative state, Indiana is, and we deserve conservatives in our state Senate who have a pulse on Republican voters. Trump and his team started flexing their political muscles soon after the president push for redistricting in Indiana came crashing down. They poured $8 million, it says right here. The Republican source familiar with the effort to defeat the incumbent GOP state senators told Fox over $8 million was spent on TV and digital ads between the American Leadership PAC and the Hoosier Leadership for America, two outside groups with Banks and steered the team Trump strategist Andrew Suburban. The source added that Team Trump operatives began organizing this plan in February and were responsible for the vast majority of the money raised that was spent by the two groups. And Governor Mike Braun of Indiana also donated several $100,000 to the effort. Two well-known national groups, Turning Point USA, Political Wing, and the Club for Growth, also had the president's back in Indiana. And the inter-party battle was seen not just as the test of fealty to Trump, but rather a fight between MAGA forces and traditional conservatives in the future for the future of the GOP. I'm telling you, if you are not a Republican unless you belong to Make America Great Again, no matter what. Okay, they're one and the same. Either you're part of us or you're against us. You can leave now if you don't like it. But we have enough Republicans, enough MAGA to continue forth this effort after President Trump retires. Don't push us. Let's see. Trump appeared to closely watch the results. As each race was called, the president took to social media to tout the victory of another Trump-endorsed Senate challenger. Besieged incumbents significantly outraised their challengers, but also boosted the Indiana Senate GOP caucus. But outside spending and get out the vote efforts by pro-Trump forces proved decisive. That's why we're telling you, GOTV is the way to do it. Okay. Short time, a long time top Pence advisor. Mike Pence was involved in it. This is demonstrate Mike Pence, stay out of politics. You're done. Stay away. You're toast. Okay. You had your chance to stay with President Trump and you failed. Let's see. I'm looking for the names of the other people. Here's another one. Thomas Massey in Kentucky. He's got issues too. He's got a very well-funded opponent that's well-funded by friends of President Trump to get him over the edge to defeat Thomas Massey. And I was talking about it yesterday. His opponent is a retired former Navy SEAL that used to be on SEAL Team 6. Lots of friends. He's a disabled veteran also. They try to use that against him, but I think that Thomas Massey is going to lose. I think it's next week. All right. We'll see on that one. And then in Ohio, what are we looking like on time? 12:36. Okay. All right. In Ohio, Vivek Ramaswamy won handily over his challenger to get the gubernatorial nomination for the state of Ohio. I just had someone, hi James, this is blank with Platinum Properties. I'm looking for a local cash buyer looking for off-market deals. Would you consider selling your house? Okay. Wow. All right. Let's see. So, Ramaswamy, who grabbed national attention when he ran for the 2024 GOP presidential nomination before dropping out, defeated long shot Casey Push, an automotive entrepreneur. His victory sets the stage for a high-profile general election battle for governor in key midterm Midwestern battleground state. Now, the multimillionaire biotech entrepreneur and business leader who is backed by Trump will face off in November's general election against Democrat Amy Acton, a doctor and researcher who served as director of the State Department of Health from 2019 to 2020. She was unopposed and captured as she captured the gubernatorial. I heard her talk last night on TV. And like I said a while ago, sometime or earlier today, might have been before my my computer crashed, but that's another story. So I heard her talk on TV, and sometimes I think I might be a little monotone. I got this accent. Stuff happens, right? This lady cannot talk. I cannot believe she did not get challenged in the primary to be governor of Ohio. She came in and she is going to get trounced by Vivek Ramaswamy. And I think I read earlier that they claimed Ohio is a purple state. Ohio is a Republican-led state now. It's been like that for 2 election cycles. It is not going anywhere else. Sherrod Brown won the nomination for the Democrats for the U.S. Senate against John Husted. Guess what? John Husted's going to win. Sherrod Brown got beat. He should have understood He got beat and he needs to stay beat. He needs to go home. All right. Ramaswamy pledged to make Ohio greater than we ever have. Mike DeWine is retiring because he's term limited. Let's see. And pointing to Acton, his Democrat rival Ramaswamy, I do believe this marks without exception the single most consequential election for governor that our state has ever seen in our history. There has never been before. There has never been a greater contrast between two candidates. The Democratic Governors Association quickly took aim at Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy is an out-of-touch presidential also who ran harmful agenda to drive up costs even higher and make life even harder for Ohio families already struggling to make ends meet. That's a bunch of BS. Okay, because he's not in government right now. He's running for office. And prices are going to come down. We just saw it with the oil prices just from the day. All right. But if you live in Ohio, like a buddy of mine, Sam Thorpe, does, vote for Vivek when it comes to the general election. All right, next. We're going to talk about our rent-a-judge again. I talked about it yesterday. All right. You're like, what in the world is a rent-a-judge? Well, about a week and a half ago, there was a shooting in the Washington Hilton of the guy that tried to breach into the ballroom he wanted to shoot and kill the president and several cabinet members and probably people that were watching, right? Well, people have been saying, except for me, that this guy's a federal judge is monitoring the case. So, it's the judge said, I want to apologize or I'm sorry to that Cole Wayne guy, Cole Allen, that tried to kill the president, right? And I kept telling people, no, he's a hired judge. He's a rented judge. He's been in place for 6 years. He got 2 years left on his contract, but people kept calling him a federal judge. Well, finally, last night, after I guess everyone went to bed, they finally clarified it. So a federal magistrate judge who apologized to the suspect accused of plotting to an assassination attempt against President Trump at the White House Correspondents Association dinner has a history of sharp critic of Trump-era federal prosecutions. To me, it's extremely disturbing that he has 5-point restraints. That's what he talked about Mr. Allen. At a minimum, let's see, Farkey, this is what I wanted to get at. Farkey, appointed as a U.S. magistrate judge in 2020, has previously clashed with federal prosecutions in Washington over Trump administration law enforcement surge cases. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro office of accusing Ms. Pirro of overreaching and bringing some matters to federal court which belonged in local court. In D.C., it's one and the same. Farkey was selected, listen to this, Farkey was selected by judges of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia to serve an 8-year term as a magistrate judge in 2020. At the time of his September 2020 appointment, the court's active Article 3 bench was composed of 15 judges, 11 appointed by Democrat presidents and 4 appointed by Republican presidents. He was, so the vote was 11-4. He was sworn in by then Chief Judge Barry Howell, an Obama appointee who has faced ethics complaints and criticism from Trump allies over handling of Trump-related matters. And Trump and his allies repeatedly cast the D.C. federal bench as hostile terrain for the administration, accusing judges in the district, including Chief Justice James Boasberg, who has drawn Trump's ire in a high-profile immigration litigation of politically charged cases. So now you know. I mean, I wasn't lying. I know what I'm talking about. I researched this. I was flabbergasted that this happened, and that they could actually hire a judge as a magistrate in a federal court and get cases, high-profile federal cases. I figured it would go to one of those 15 judges. They got lifetime tenures that they would hire, that they would try and leave this guy to traffic cases. Need I say more on that one, right? Man, where are my buddies? Man, I have no friends on here this afternoon. What's up with this? The Senate advanced the $72 billion reconciliation bill that includes funding for CBP and ICE, and amongst other different agencies within the federal government. The reconciliation is a process by you can reopen the budget and make monetary budget decisions, and they only have to be passed on a 50-50 vote, a majority-led vote, not a filibuster-proof vote, right? So I got this from Just the News. We're at 12:45, okay. Republicans are forging ahead with legislation to fund ICE and Customs. Along party lines, the two Senate committees tasked with constructing a filler-proof budget reconciliation bill both unveiled the text of their proposals late Monday night. Taken together, the bills allocate a grand total of $72 billion for federal immigration operations over the next 3 years. The Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley said the advanced funding will help provide certainty for the federal law enforcement and prevent the country from being dragged backwards by Democrats' radical anti-law enforcement agenda. The package includes $38 billion for ICE and $26 billion for CBP, and then $3.5 billion is for investment in border security improvements. Republicans also ensured the Department of Homeland Security as a whole, which houses ICE and CBP, would receive an extra $5 billion, while the Department of Justice received $1.5 billion and the Secret Service was $1 billion. The $1 billion was for Secret Service, is meant to fund security adjustments and upgrades to the East Wing Modernization Project, which the President Trump is replacing with a ballroom. And then they put a limitation in the bill specifying that none of the funds would be made available for non-security elements of the project, referring to the construction of the ballroom, right? Republicans have argued that the recent shooting at the White House Correspondence Center, which took place in the banquet hall of Washington, proves that they need this ballroom. Now, this morning, Democrats, Chucky Schumer, promised and pledged that they would remove that $1 billion from the bill because the president said not one dime would be used of taxpayer dollars for the ballroom. This is security upgrades. Not going to go into what's below ground. I'm not. But it is a good money spent on security upgrades, protect the life of the president and principles of the president, right? So we will go on to other things besides talking about that. There's some people that talk way too much about stuff around there. that's all for that. So all they need to do is go back to construct the bill. The president said he needs this done and signed by the beginning of June. It needs to be the same as what they're offering in the Senate. And then they need to vote on it. The president signs it, and the ICE and CBP is protected for the next 3 years. Also, um, I was hoping they would have put some military appropriations in there to expedite the building of new missiles and armament for the next time we have some type of armed conflict, because we use an awful lot of munitions in the last couple of months that need to be replaced. Maybe there'll be a third reconciliation bill. We will see. And maybe that'll be included in the $1.5 trillion Department of War appropriations bill. All right, next. So before we get to this part, I'm going to talk about this. All right. Wesley Hunt. He just lost the primary to Ken Paxton and John Cornyn for the U.S. Senate seat that's up for grabs in here in Texas. All right. So Congressman Wesley Hunt pushed back during an interview with Midas Touch's Pablo Manriquez after being asked about black Republicans in Congress following the Supreme Court ruling of Louisiana versus Calais in a major voting rights case involving race and congressional redistricting. Hunt rejected the premise of the question after Manriquez asked whether there won't be any black Republicans left in the House. He said, "It is not relevant. I'm not here because I'm black," Hunt said. "I am here because I'm a qualified representative for Congressional District 38. Hunt framed his response around the idea that electoral outcomes should reflect voter preference rather than racial considerations, rejecting the premise that representation should be measured through identity. He's right. It does not matter what you look like. It's what you bring to the game to be a better candidate and better representative to our country. All right? The American people choose who they want to choose. I don't want to get into this game of race bait all day, every day." Hunt said the number of black Republicans serving in Congress should not be treated as a central measure of representation. "If there are 4," he said, "if there are 10, if there's none." He pointed to the political makeup of his district to underscore his argument that electoral success is not dependent on racial alignment, noting that the partisan lean and margin of victory in his race. "I represent a white majority district, and President Trump would have won by over 20 points, and I won it by 25 points." The Texas congressman closed his response by invoking Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous standard by judging people by their character, and not by their skin color. "I'm not being judged by the color of my skin, but the content of my character," he said. And congressional districts across the states are being reshaped by redistricting, a situation of ongoing Voting Rights Act disputes. Makes perfect sense to me. Wesley Hunt is an excellent congressman. He would have made an excellent senator. I actually voted for Wesley Hunt. I really care less what a person looks like. What they think inside is what matters to me. All right. I may not be able to get to this. Hold on, let me see. All right. So this will be quick. So Ron DeSantis approved the new Florida map for the midterms. Uh, I got this from the Federalist. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation on Monday, which is a day and a half ago, that redistricts the state's congressional map to be more favorable to Republicans. Signed, sealed, and delivered. That's what he said on X. And he attached a photo of the new map with her. It's almost all red for some reason. According to Florida politics, the new map, which takes effect immediately, could potentially net Republicans an additional 4 seats during the upcoming midterm elections. Now, the former map, the Republicans hold 20 and Democrats hold 8, so it may go to 24-4, right? Um, and then also, they've got this one Republican, he may run against Moskowitz or Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Them two may have to primary together to be able to run against him. All right, so we'll see more about that. Wow, this is big. Okay, nope, that's not it. Okay, so we were talking about Texas a while ago with Wesley Hunt, right? You can't watch any TV right now without seeing um, John Cornyn campaign ads all over the place. Evidently, he has a bottomless pit of money because he is spending buku money. I cannot wait to the 16th to the 18th of May because I want to see what his campaign finance report looks like because he spent millions. Every commercial is on there about how bad of a person Ken Paxton is. Ken Paxton is. Ken Paxton that. He could be an axe murderer right now. Could be. According to John Cornyn, he probably is. But there's a poll that just came out, right? That shows Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General, appears poised to defeat Senator John Cornyn in the upcoming runoff contest for the Republican nomination, a recent poll has revealed. Paxton led Cornyn 48-45 among likely voters in the Hobby School of Politics Public Affairs poll with 7% undecided. John Cornyn placed first in the initial contest, but fell short of the 50% threshold needed to avoid a runoff. With the elimination of Congressman Wesley Hunt, who I just spoke about, right? Paxton appears to have the advantage. President Trump initially indicated plans to endorse one candidate or the other and to ask the other to drop out, though he did not do so. Paxton, for his part, offered the dropout if Cornyn would secure passage of the Save America Act. That's the voter ID bill. But Cornyn was not able to do so. The poll was conducted the 28th of April to the 1st of May, with 1,200 likely voters, and the margin of error is 2.83%. Wow. That's a 3% spread. And I bet it's going to get worse. We'll see about that. And to put in conjunction with that, right? We're going to go over time, but that's right. New York Post, hold on. Nope. Okay. So Senator John Cornyn has repeatedly praised an American arm of Islamic Relief Worldwide, a charity the State Department cut ties with in 2021 amid concerns including praise of terrorist and anti-Semitism. After the State Department aired its concerns regarding Islamic Relief Worldwide, Cornyn had kind words with its American branch. A Fox News review uncovered 2 video messages and 2 letters where Cornyn commended Islamic Relief USA or endorsed the organization's operations. Thanks to my friends at Islamic Relief USA for all their humanitarian work, Cornyn said in May 2021. Video address to the organization. A year later, that would be 2022, right? The senator wrote a letter to Islamic Relief USA to recognize and thank the organization for its humanitarian efforts across Texas and our nation. In a 2023 letter, Cornyn again referred to Islamic Relief USA as friends and commended the group for its dedication for serving the most vulnerable neighbors. And wow, in late 2025, Islamic Relief USA moved severed ties with Islamic Relief Worldwide, arguing that the conduct of its parent organization was significantly damaging to Islamic Relief USA's reputation. They're one and the same. They're just trying to make themselves look good. So John Cornyn has a history of donating time and effort to Islamic Worldwide. They deny that they've ever been linked to any terror organizations. HSBC, which is a credit company, right, ended its relationship with Islamic Relief in 2016. And UBS, another one, did the same thing 4 years earlier. So there's history of Islamic Relief being a terrorist organization. Why would a U.S. senator be sending letters to the same people, right? And yeah, so I'm telling you, John Cornyn is bad juju. If he wins the nomination, I'll vote for him. But I'm going to vote for Ken Paxton in the runoff, right? And I expect Ken Paxton to win, and then win in November against James Tellerico. He is fatally flawed, man. What are we looking at? It's 101. So I'll cover these tomorrow. All right. So, and I'll do a premium tomorrow. Let me see these for premium. So this coming Tuesday, a week from yesterday, there will be a meet and greet at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove, part of the Coryell County Republican Party runoff candidates meet and greet. May 2nd, May 12th at 6 p.m. at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove. It's going to be in conjunction with the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. That's the group that I help form, right? We meet there the second Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. at Giovanni's. And we just go there, like-minded conservative individuals get to talk and plan and then execute, right? But so this is the meet and greet for the last meet and greet before the runoff happens. Now we have invited Commissioner Scott Weddle, Tully Meyer. We've invited Ray Ashby. We've invited Justin Smith. All of them are actual candidates for the commissioner races for 2 and 4. And then for the county judge, we invited Judge Miller. He has not said if he's coming. He has not been at a single Republican Party event yet, right? And he wants to get elected by Republicans. And then we have Rob Irwin. He's going to be there too. He's the challenger for the county judge seat. Hold on just a second. Nope. All right. So that is the JP8 report for today. All right. Thanks for bearing. Hey, look at it like this. my computer did not crash on me this afternoon. I still have no idea what happened. That blows my mind that it did. We, I will, I will find out what day. The only thing I can think of is that the cache it was too much cache in memory and RAM, because I do have a lot of tabs open. But I don't know. That's weird that it actually reset like that. I don't understand, but it did, and it's recovered, and we just had a successful 1 hour long podcast, and no, no OBS disconnect. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then, and we didn't lose our internet, which is good too. All right. So I will see y'all tomorrow. All right. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.